It's a crisis unfolding in South Korea's aviation world. Jeju Air, the country's leading low-cost carrier, once known for its ambition and rapid growth, now faces a storm of financial, operational, and public challenges after a devastating crash on December 29, 2024, that claimed the lives of 179 people. This disaster is one of the worst air tragedies in South Korea in nearly 3 decades. The flight crashed after striking a fixed structure on the runway, and what should have been a routine flight turned into a national tragedy. Kim Ibe, we are fully committed to supporting the victims and their families. The plane had no previous safety issues, and we are cooperating with all investigations. Kim's assurances have done little to quell the growing scrutiny surrounding Jeju Air's operations. Less than a week after the crash, South Korean officials raided the airline's offices and imposed a travel ban on Kim Ibe himself as part of the investigation into the cause of the crash. This is the latest blow for Jeju Air, which already faced a challenging financial landscape. Its stock, which was already at a record low, dropped another 10% in the wake of the tragedy. Passenger cancellations are pouring in, and the airline now faces questions about everything from its business practices to its safety protocols. Jeju Air, once an upstart challenger to South Korea's airline giants, had already been struggling. After the pandemic, it faced rising fuel prices, inflation, and increased debt. In 2024, the airline operated 4% fewer flights than in 2019, a reflection of the hurdles that have held it back from a full recovery. And just as the airline was trying to recover, Jeju Air found itself facing new competition. The long-awaited merger of Korean Air and Asiana Airlines was finalized in December, creating a massive airline conglomerate that could outsize Jeju Air. Mayer Patel. Jeju Air is a reliable low-cost carrier with a strong foothold in Southeast Asia and Northern Asia, but with the merger of Korean Air and Asiana, their competitive advantage is at risk. This crash has only made things more uncertain for the airline. Jeju Air had been South Korea's first budget airline, offering affordable flights between Seoul and Jeju Island and expanding across Asia. But now, questions are being raised about how the airline has operated and whether its aggressive business practices played a role in the crash. One of the key concerns centers around the airline's maintenance practices. Unlike its larger competitors, Jeju Air outsources much of its maintenance overseas. While outsourcing is common in the industry, it raises questions about whether such practices could have contributed to the crash. Jonathan Berger. Outsourcing maintenance is standard in the airline industry. However, what's crucial is the regulation and oversight that comes with it. The airline must demonstrate that the work was done to the highest standards. Another practice under investigation is Jeju Air's operating model. The airline's planes were flying more hours per day than its competitors, with an average of 14.1 hours daily in 2024. For comparison, Korean Air averaged just 8.6 hours per day. While flying more frequently is often seen as a sign of efficiency, in the wake of a fatal crash, it raises concerns. Jeju Air has long operated with tight margins. Even before the crash, it was dealing with financial strain. It's facing nearly $165 million in short-term loans due next year, an amount that exceeds its available cash reserves. Kim Ibe. We will move forward with our expansion plans, including the purchase of up to 40 new Boeing planes. Our priority is to support the victims and ensure the airline can recover from this tragedy. Despite these assurances, the road ahead for Jeju Air is uncertain. The airline still plans to expand its fleet, hoping to take advantage of government support aimed at protecting budget carriers from the growing monopoly of the merged Korean Air and Asiana. But the focus remains on the victims of the crash and their families. Jeju Air has pledged up to $1 billion in insurance coverage to ensure that those affected are compensated. But for many, the emotional toll of this tragedy cannot be measured in dollars. Brendan Sobey, low-cost carriers like Jeju Air are often financially vulnerable. The pressure is on for them to maintain operational efficiency, but these airlines have ways of surviving financial difficulties, with strong incentives from partners in the airline supply chain to help them weather storms. As Jeju Air moves forward, it faces a future clouded by financial uncertainty, safety questions, and a tarnished reputation. Can the airline recover, or is this the beginning of the end for South Korea's once promising low-cost carrier? For now, Jeju Air's next chapter is uncertain, and the coming months will be critical in determining whether the airline can navigate through this darkest of hours.